I am the Assistant Director of Tutoring Services, part of the Student Support Services team. And I think this is actually going to be your favorite part of today just because we have some of our student leaders here. And I'm going to introduce each student and they're going to tell a little about themselves. So first we have Kyle Heyman.
Hi, my name is Kyle. I am a double major undergrad and grad student here. I am majoring in finance and modern languages and linguistics. I have concentrations in honors, Italian, French, and Spanish. And I'm also pursuing a double master's, an MBA, and a Master of Science in Finance.
And then Benedicta Sarpong.
Hi, I'm Benedicta. I'm majoring in biological sciences and have a concentration in honors. And I'm also getting a certificate in global health.
And Daniel Collins.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dan Collins. I'm a current junior here at Rowan University. I am a sports communication and media production major, and I'm concentrating in RTF sports productions.
And our last student panelist is Rachel Bonholm.
So hey guys, I'm Rachel. I'm a junior math education major, and I have a CUGS in Access, Success, and Equity in Education.
Great, so we're so excited to have our student leaders here. I'm gonna ask them a couple questions, but if you have questions, we'll take questions at the end. But we were thinking about what is it that students really wanna hear from our leaders on campus. They've had a lot of experience being in positions where they're working and leading organizations. So my first question for the panel is, if you could give one piece of advice to incoming students, what would it be? Kyle?
In my opinion, any advice I would give any incoming freshman would probably be take the resources that the university has to offer, such as where we're sitting in the Office of Career Advancement or upstairs with the tutoring services, the University Advising Center. They have been nothing but helpful in my time, and since I'm a senior, I kind of look back and I wish I took advantage of it more. Really here to help. Really, the services are meant for the students and how to put you on the right path. So I would recommend take the advantage you can of using the services that the university provides.
Awesome. How about you, Benedicta? What would you offer?
Yeah, I would say that coming into college, it was just such a new experience. So one of the important advice that I would give is know that everybody has their individual paths and understand that you're on your own, and understand that basically you don't have to follow anybody else and focus on yourself, and that because that you've made it this far, you're more than enough, and you should know that you could do whatever you plan on doing.
Very inspiring. And you're going to go to med school, which has been a dream of yours.
Yes.
All right, how about you, Daniel? What piece of advice would you offer to incoming students?
Well, with the resources, they are really helpful, but when you're at college, you're always going to have good days, and when there are good days, there are bad days. Just because you have a bad day does not mean that it's going to force you down. It's a part of life, and we all experience them. I experienced them through my first 2 years at Rowan. So my advice is that if you just have a bad day, take a deep breath, because you know that the next day or a few days is going to make up for it.
And how about you, Rachel? What would you offer as a piece of advice?
So my biggest advice, and people say this a lot, but I really believe in it, is to get involved. A lot of people come to college and they feel really lonely, and that's because they aren't seeking out groups and people to hang out with and have similar interests with. So yeah, get involved. Even if it's getting an on-campus job, you might not see, oh, that might not be fun, but you'll become friends with your coworkers, or join a club, join a sport. Do basically anything, because you will find friends and it will make your college experience.
All right, so kind of going back to what Dan said, that you'll have good days and bad days. So my next question for the student panel is, think about your time at Rowan and think about one or two things that you did really well and things that you wish that you could do differently. What would you tell students about your experience?
So I would say, regarding things that I did really well, I think for me, I kind of knew what I wanted to do what type of major I wanted to pursue. But that still doesn't help the fact that I still wasn't sure what path I wanted to go down. So I think for me, what I thought was really well was going with what I said, to go back to those services that the university provides. My first year as a freshman here, I was in the University Advising Center a lot, trying to figure out what classes were right for me, which program I thought I was comfortable in. I thought that was something that I really took the initiative upon, and that's what you got to do too, is take that initiative to go figure out what you want to do. But in another sense, I also did not follow up at first with what the university was suggesting and how I could do it. So it kind of was detrimental to me that I was saying, oh, all right, I'll look into this engineering program, but I'm not going to figure out what any of the classes mean. I'm just going to sign up for the classes. So that was my biggest downfall, I would say. And then ending up in the classes, I figured out, wow, I really don't like this. Maybe this could have been avoided. But that would be my historical path down at Rowan that I did good versus bad.
It's a very common path where people want to change their major. Anybody experience that? I see some head shaking. Yes, myself, I also did that twice. So thank you for sharing. Benedicta, how about you?
I would say that one thing that I did well is time management. I was really big on, there was a lot on my plate, like starting off, and like I tried to get involved in as much as I can. And one thing I was good at was managing my time and to make sure that I was able to do all the things that I needed to do in a day. And one thing that I wish that I could have learned earlier was how to manage, how to balance everything, and making sure that I also took care of myself, and with making sure that you sleep and eat, because that's also important. Because there's a lot going on, but you also have to make sure you take care of yourself.
And Dan?
Well, it's been a lot for me, but one thing that I really did a great job of doing here at Rowan is obviously being involved. I have been in a lot of clubs and societies, but also did some Rowan activities as well, but put myself out there, try to make friends. I did really well at that. And it's a good thing to do, to be a part of your social life. However, one thing that I really struggled with as well, going back, is taking care of myself. I did not get not a lot of good amount of sleep. Back then, I go to sleep around 1 o'clock sometimes in the morning and wake up around 8. So it's really bad to just do stuff like that. So always try to take care of yourself and just, drink more water, have a healthier meal. It's little things like that can make a big positive impact on your mental health.
Thank you for sharing. And Rachel, what would you say is yours?
So one thing I've been doing really well is managing my time. So I kind of treat school and work like a 9 to 5, more like 8 to 6. But I go to class at 8. I do all of my homework in my downtime. I get home at 6, and then I'm done for the day. And that's kind of my way of self-care, just making sure I don't stay up late doing assignments and all that. And yeah, it's working. I recommend it. But something I have not done well is studying, reaching out for help when I'm having trouble with things. So I recommend going to office hours, because the one time I did go to office hours, everything made so much more sense. So, yeah.
All right, so going along with that question, I want to know, was there a hardship that you encountered as a Rowan student, and how did you manage it?
For me, there was actually one hardship that I could think of, and that was back in my freshman year in my dorm. Me and my roommate, we got along really well until the end of the year when COVID started rising up. Things became a little more challenging, and to the point where I tried talking to him and we just could not get our conflict situated. So once again, going back to the resources, I talked to the RA, the residential assistant, and they are really helpful in trying to figure out things. You know, they come around in your dorms, especially, to figure out roommate agreements and contracts and all the different types of stuff to make sure that you are comfortable in your own room. So when I did that, I think that the RA was really helpful and that they're there to help. That's what they want to do.
Great advice. I know roommate issues is a common concern I hear from students, and the RA is definitely a resource. So thank you for sharing that with everyone. How about you, Benedicta?
I would say for me, something that I struggled with was overcoming like imposter syndrome and like understanding that everybody's here for a reason and like everybody has your own path basically, and it's something that like sometimes it took me from getting opportunities that I should have went for. So now basically I just force myself to do any opportunities or anything that I want to go for.
Great advice. Just show up.
Yeah.
Excellent. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me to decide, but biggest hardship for me was honestly chatting with people. I was diagnosed with autism when I was just 5 years old, and it was just hard for me to just communicate and talk to people when I had to start out college, because it was like you're going to a new school, you don't know anybody. So once I got started to events, I started, making friends, and it was a bit of a challenge at first, but once you like start chatting, then it just gets easier and easier and easier as it goes. So it was quite a journey for me, and it's still a little bit hard to talk, but I always try my best to overcome my fear and just, make friends and have a good time.
That's great. So you didn't let the fear hold you back.
I never let my fear hold me back.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Rachel?
So something I struggled with a lot, especially my sophomore year, was asking for help. I struggle with anxiety, and sophomore year got pretty bad. And so it took a lot in me, but I decided, okay, I'm gonna go get help. And so I did. I went to the Office of Accessibility. They helped me out. I got accommodations. I have an emotional support animal. And so now I'm good. But but it was really hard to take that first step to just ask for help. Sometimes it feels like a little embarrassing almost to try to get someone to help you with what you're going through, but it's really worth it.
And you have an emotional support animal now.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So her name's Boom. She's 2.5. She's a little black cat with green eyes. And I love her. She's so friendly. All of my roommates love her. She's like a part of the apartment, and like for the emotional support thing, she helps me out so much. Like honestly, I recommend it if you need one.
Thank you, student panel, for being vulnerable and sharing with the audience. I want to ask you if you could think back on your own experience. Can you tell the audience a little about your journey?
Yeah, I could talk a little bit about my journey. So coming into Rowan, I really was not sure what I wanted to do. I came in as an undecided, I guess you could call it, undeclared, and I originally wanted to go for engineering. That's all I knew. I wanted to go for mechanical engineering. I thought that was my goal. That was what I wanted all in life, and that's what I was going to end it up as. And actually, the fourth day of the semester, my freshman year, fall semester, I declared modern languages and linguistics because why not? I have a passion for languages, and I was like, oh, this should be interesting. But that still wasn't what I wanted to do. It didn't fulfill me enough. So I knew that I wanted to do some type of major with numbers, something with a math base. And that's when I really started looking into finance. And I kind of feel now that it was the right decision. I'm so happy I went with MLL, Modern Languages and Linguistics, and finance. I think it's such a great combination. And it also inspired me to pursue different academic things. So I also have a minor in international studies and a certificate in GIS. So just because you want to do one major, or you want to do one academic program, doesn't mean that you're limited to just that. You can go down and you can expand to any type of horizon you have and end up maybe like me with 2 masters and 2 bachelors and all of that. So
Kyle didn't mention that he also is a peer tutor at Rowan in all of the subjects that he has mentioned for his majors.
yes. So I'm here to help. Whatever you need. If you want to learn a new language, I'm right here.
Benedicta is also a peer tutor at Rowan. So can you tell the audience a little about your journey, Benedicta?
Yes, so I started off a little different. I didn't come in the fall with like my class. I graduated in 2018, but I started in the spring of like the freshman year, so it was kind of a little off. But I feel like what I did, especially the first semester, was make sure I got involved and make sure like I took like every opportunity that was there. I got involved in MAPS since I'm pre-med. It's a minority association for medical students. So it's for anyone that wants to go into that pre-health or like that medical school path. And eventually I became the secretary. I also started a new club at the honors concentration called Defining Diversity for BIPOC students, and where we have discussions and we have like debates and stuff. And I'm part of tutoring service. I was a success coach for 1 year.
So if you need chemistry help, Benedicta is your girl. She actually does appointments and drop-in. She'll start next week in Savitz Hall. All right, and Dan, you have a little bit of a different experience with your RTF major too. Can you share a little about your journey?
Yes, so back before even college started, I was a huge sports person. I remember I started liking it when I was just in kindergarten, and it just grew a part of me. It started branching out into different areas. So back when I was in high school, I actually decided I wanted to be a sports cam major, even before coming to Rowan. And started out actually behind the camera. This is actually my 7th year doing it, so been very experienced, and I was like, wait, which college should I go to? And so a few years ago when I came to Rowan for like a visit, it had just everything that I wanted. So coming into Rowan, I was a sports cam major. I was not sure which concentration I wanted, and going to like my social life, I had a hard time communicating with people, and I had a lot of stress in my mind with the assignments, tests, and quizzes. So I had to find a way to manage that. So there were a few resources on campus. They are called SAS meetings and chill and chats. They're on Mondays from 2 to 3 p.m. and Fridays from 11 to 12, both at the Wellness Center. That basically it takes students that discuss their struggles on campus, and they just do like fun games and activities, and just a good way to make friends. So it's so much fun for me. I've been doing it basically every single week ever since I was a freshman, so it's really fun. But going back to my majoring, I decided I wanted to do RTF sports productions because it was exactly what I wanted to do. I actually work with Rowan Athletics. I also help out with RTN. It was just an amazing college for me to decide on, and I'm just striving and thriving here at Rowan.
So if you go to any of the sports games, you'll probably see Dan behind the camera.
It depends on if I'm working with athletics or RTN, but I'm most likely going to be there.
Awesome. Great. And how about you, Rachel? Tell us about your Rowan experience.
So I started here the awful year of 2020. My freshman year, fall, completely online. I wasn't even living on campus. Kind of felt isolated. I moved on campus spring, still feeling a little isolated. So sophomore year, I decided to really make a jump and get involved in things. I started tutoring, so I've been tutoring for a year now. I joined honors for a year. That was really cool. And I started fencing too. So, yeah.
Did anyone know that we had a fencing organization? I learned that today. That's pretty impressive. Rachel's involved in everything, and that was a new one for me when she was sharing her experience. So very cool. There's a lot of diversity in different majors and clubs and organizations. All right, the final question I have, and then we'll have the audience ask some questions too. Is there a person or office who has been the most helpful to you during your Rowan experience? And please explain how you got connected to them.
So actually, I know this might sound kind of cliche, but right here is Miss Laura Repsher is kind of the person that I like to highlight. My sophomore year, I was home. I know you mentioned that you were isolated. I think everyone felt a little isolated. And when I came back to campus last year for my junior year, I just went right in. I got involved. I found the tutoring services as a tutor position, and I figured, why not? I'm going to apply to it. I got 2 years left of school, make the most out of it, and since I became a part of the program, my view of the world has changed a lot. I'm able to help other students thrive and understand material, which is really inspirational to be able to see that little glimpse just connect. And if it wasn't for this office, I probably would not have ever experienced that. I would have never seen a student understand the material from another student's perspective. So for me, I would say that the Tutoring Services Center and being a tutor was that one place where I really where I feel fulfilled.
Awesome. And he actually does many subjects. As I mentioned earlier, we call him the jack of all trades because I think he does 5 different, maybe 6 content areas. So you'll usually see him in there tutoring in various
every class.
geography, foreign language,
Make it work.
business.
Yeah.
Success
Success
coach. Oh,
coach,
yes, he's a
Yes, I'm a
success coach this year too.
As of this year.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I do have 3 tutors on the panel, so we are happy they're here. Benedicta has also been a tutor for me, probably the longest of all my over 100 tutors. I think you were with me pre-pandemic and now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a little biased too. I was gonna say the tutoring services not because only because I'm a tutor, but also I went to tutoring. I still go to tutoring at times when I need help with my classes, and it was very helpful. Like especially my first semester of college, I went to tutoring a lot, and that's what made me want to become a tutor. And also the tutoring services is like equipped with like a bunch of resources. Like even if you don't need tutoring per se, every tutor has like all the resources on campus. So if you have a question about like let's say Fresh for All or the shop. Yes, that's what I was.
I got you. Free snacks in the tutoring center
Thank
from
you.
the shop.
Or the shop. They have all these resources, and you're able to like get connected to like the campus resources.
The coolest thing about Benedicta is for the past 4 years, I have seen her mentor the students who are coming in to meet with her.
And yeah, that's also like a great addition of the tutoring services. Like when you become a tutor, you like everybody, like most of the students, especially if they're freshmen, they want like advice from someone that's been through what you're going through now. So it's like a great way to become a mentor or a leader in the community.
And Benedicta has an idea of creating a mentor program for students who are pre-med too. So she's really getting involved with the mentor aspect. Thank you, Benedicta. How about you, Dan?
Well, I have 2 people that have really helped me get to this point. One of them is here, and the other person unfortunately could not make it today. To the person that's here, it is actually Mr. John Woodruff. Yeah, thank you so much, man. He has really helped me help me with my accommodations online with the process, because if I didn't had my accommodations with me, and even like the resources like the testing center, I would not be so successful as I am right now. Getting these A's and B's, I probably would have maybe gotten like D's, even C's. So he really has helped me throughout my first 2 years, and probably will help me through the rest of my rowing career. And the second person that unfortunately cannot be here, it is Miss Latimer. She is part of the leader of the PATH program and has helped me talk about my week, like person for me to chat with. Every single week here at Rowan, just saying like, hey, how's your classes going? And just keeps me upbeat and like organized with stuff. And now that I'm a rising junior, she's going to be helping me with my resume and trying to help me get like a summer internship potentially this upcoming summer, if not sooner. So just two amazing people that have helped me get to the person I am today. So big thank you to both of them.
Well, I would also agree with you that John Woodruff is many students' favorite, and Kiara and the path she has blazed with the PATH program itself. So I hear that a lot. So thank you for sharing that.
Anytime.
How about you, Rachel?
I think the whole third floor of Savitz is just amazing. Like, honestly, like, advising services, amazing, so helpful. The Ascend office, if you're part of Ascend, they're so helpful. They do, like, textbook rentals and, like, calculator rentals, amazing. Tutoring services, you guys said so much about it already. I don't need to repeat it. Success coaching, I just started doing that this year. It's an amazing program. Accessibility services, so helpful. Just like, I feel like on the third floor, if you need help with anything, you can find what you need.
We got you. Yes, we do. Awesome. Thank you all for sharing about your experience, and thank you everyone in this room for listening. We have these 4 student leaders who are here in front of us. Does anybody have anything they want to ask them? Just any questions, reflecting on your day and some of the breakout sessions you may have gone to. If you have any questions for our students, the table is open. Yes, Carol?
I don't really have a question. I just admire all 4 of you for being up there and for contributing. And I think it really hits home with each one of you. I could relate different aspects of what you were saying, and it takes courage, different amounts for different questions that you had to answer. But I really appreciate your comments and just that you were up there at the panel. Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you.
Kind of brings tears to my eyes just thinking about how awesome it is.
I agree. Anybody else? Yes, John?
Hi, thank you, Laura, for calling them leaders, because they are leaders on campus. And, we all went through the pandemic like no one was left unscathed. So the students, and you get the bush so but to go through that and still reach out, jump in, leave your comfort zone, and without even like saying that you're mentoring, wanting to mentor, someone that you're tutoring, your coach, that they see someone that's willing to probably let them know how you had to ask for help as a tutor, and you still do, and you tutor. So that's sweet. I'm just really proud of all of you so much.
These students are giving back, which is wonderful to watch. Anybody else? This is great feedback, comments. Thank you both. You are right. I think everybody can agree that the pandemic was a challenge in itself. So everybody has navigated that time, and we're happy to be back in person together. Any other questions, comments? Things that you enjoyed about the day? It's been a fun day. I thank all of you for being here and listening to our student panel. I thank our student leaders for being here and being vulnerable, like Mr. Woodruff said. It takes a lot of courage, and thank you for sharing your own experience.
So we're almost done. I brought I did not want to forget.
But I felt very emotional as well this day. It was an idea a while ago, and now here we are. And just for it to end off this way, I feel like we ended off so strong, hearing from you and your stories. But I know that a lot of our students have stories as well that are very inspiring and moving too. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. I'm hoping that one of you it connected, because it definitely connected for me, but I'm hoping that you can just take one little bit of advice and it helps motivate you to keep continuing. So it really has been such a great day. Thank you so much, everybody, for spending your day and for being here at the end at 2 o'clock. I know it was a long day, but that just shows your dedication and your commitment to your academics, but also to yourself to be successful. And I feel like you are already successful. I know Bob said that in the beginning, that you're already successful for just being here. So thank you for giving your time and your dedication. We really appreciated that. But a day like this does not happen alone, and it is a collaborative team effort that it took many hours and departments and team and restructuring everything. So it did take a lot, and we want to make sure that we thank those people. Starting off with our co-sponsors, Office of Accessibility, John and Lee. Not only did you help support us in this, but you also were presenters as well. And so anything we need, we always know that we can lean on you and your department. You always support us. So thank you, the Office of Accessibility. Also, the Office of Career Advancement. I mean, not only from our keynote speaker to the space, it was the same thing. Anything we needed, that department was always willing to give a hand and support us in this day. Bob, like I said, was a keynote speaker. Our workshop presenters, really, that was like the meat and potatoes of our day, and so we're so happy and so thankful that everyone, offered their time and expertise to offer those workshops, and I hope that you were able to take something away from that. We had Dr. Byron, Ali Baker, Brittany Ayoletto, John Woodruff, Lee Plen, and Karen Seafrin, who was at the end. She filled in for Rosaria Pipitone, who was unfortunately not able to come, but that's what makes a team, right? We support each other and we come for and help each other out. Amy Ryman, who is always our continued support, and also introduced this morning's keynote speaker. The UAC, so our Student Support Services, we are housed in the UAC, and anytime that we need help, Carol and her team, you guys are always there to help with whatever we need, and so we are so thankful for you. And last but not least, our team, our small but mighty Student Support Services team. It's so nice to have great people to work with as you continue and you start, working. And even now, when you're working now, it's always so nice to go to work and love the people that you work with. And so that's what we have in our team. Last but not least is our head of our department, who I know it is killing her right now that she's not here, but Erin Hanna. She's worked tirelessly. Anytime you have an idea, she's like, let's do it. And that's what this day was about. And I know she worked really hard and would love to have been here in person, but I know she's here in spirit. And that's what a great team does, and a great leader. A leader trusts in your team, and that's what she did. And she knew that we would be good and we would keep moving forward, right? And that's what we kept saying, we'll be fine, and we are fine. And today was just an amazing wonderful day, so we definitely want to thank Erin. So once again, thank you all for coming. We appreciate your time. At any time that you need support here at Rowan, please find any of us. We are happy to help, and we are all located right here in this building, so you know where to find us. So thank you and have a wonderful day. And again, thank you for coming.